the CEO of Porsche has pulled off the unimaginable, saving our cherished combustion engines from certain death. Porsche is quietly developing a technology that will prevent ICE engines from dying, while the rest of the world is placing large bets on electric vehicles. After an absurd expenditure of over $100 million, Porsche was able to develop a new kind of combustion engine that emits no pollutants and costs almost half as much as electric vehicles. Their new e-fuel engine has a 1,100-mile range, just 2 minutes to refill, produces no emissions. Enough power to surpass a V8 while leaving EVs in the dust. Porsche could thrive in an electric future, according to CEO Oliver Blume, but we don't want to alienate our present clientele. But what precisely is their e-fuel which they keep under wraps, and what makes it unique? Why do companies like BMW, Porsche, and Jeep oppose the EV revolution? And is the E-era officially over? What if you could continue to drive a vehicle with the same level of performance as the potent sports vehicles that we all like, but without the pollution that appeases politicians? Porsche has now brought this to pass. To prevent combustion engines from dying, a 600-horsepower gas-hydrogen engine was recently created. Oliver Blume, the CEO of Porsche, has sent a harsh warning to automakers, indicating that there will be other forms of mobility in the coming years in addition to electric vehicles. Porsche's introduction of their new petrol-hydrogen engine demonstrated the continued need for internal combustion engines. Porsche, a brand known for unwavering excellence, started the conceptualization process in 2022. Using its current gasoline engines as the standard and working to create a smooth transition between tradition and modernity. This innovative engine runs on both gas and hydrogen and has a top speed of 180 miles per hour. Porsche is also developing a whole new fuel that is intended to be used with current internal combustion engines, such as mine and yours, to make them emissions-free. About it more in a moment. We are all aware of the problems with hydrogen. It releases harmful nitrous oxides first, and then there is the problem of how to store hydrogen in an automobile. For decades, Toyota has attempted to resolve these issues but has not been successful. But friends, Porsche is not your typical automaker. They were able to take this engine and increase its range to an incredible 1,100 miles in addition to solving the faults. Porsche has changed in 3 key ways. In order to reduce pollutants, they will use the urea-based catalytic reduction seen in diesel engines. This engine also has a higher compression ratio and a cutting-edge custom turbocharger. Folks, that's not all. Porsche also introduced a fuel that will change the game and help keep combustion automobiles alive. Hydrogen is a project that Porsche is working on because it involves creating fuel from nothing more than water and air. It's a huge deal. When they originally made this announcement in December 2020, they planned to export the first batch of e-fuel by January 2023, and they accomplished this goal flawlessly. Actually, this gasoline isn't solely made by Porsche. In December 2022, they put it through its paces in a Porsche 911. Porsche's automobile has unique ideas that I will discuss with you later, and it is not interested in becoming electrified. Oliver Blume, the CEO of Porsche, claims that 35,000 gallons of this e-fuel will be produced annually, and that's only the start. In the future, they want to increase it to an incredible 14 million gallons. How will this new fuel benefit you now? Simply said, Porsche uses electrolysis to separate water into hydrogen and oxygen after removing CO2 from the atmosphere directly from renewable energy sources like solar or wind power. Due to its environmentally benign production, the hydrogen they get is referred to as green hydrogen. After mixing this green hydrogen with the CO2 they had previously gathered, they are done. The gasoline you have is synthetic. This is when the intriguing part really begins. Porsche isn't doing this by itself, it has the support of Ferrari's CEO Benetton, saying they think this concept is fantastic since it allows people to continue being environmentally conscious while still driving gas-powered automobiles. Ferrari intends to use only electric vehicles in 80 of its vehicles. The other 20 will be reserved for the company's iconic internal combustion engines. In an effort to counter EVs, companies like Toyota, BMW, and Jeep have released some startling truth bombs, which I'll discuss in a moment. According to Porsche's head of the Development and Research Board, Michael Steiner, this fuel will provide owners of current models with a practically carbon-neutral substitute. Put simply, it allows us to maintain both our modern and antique combustion engines on the road while feeling much cleaner about it. For this initiative, Porsche has also teamed up with a few other businesses such as NL Green Power, which is assisting with the creation of wind power. Porsche has established a facility at Enap, a Chilean energy firm, since wind energy is abundant and consistent throughout the year, and Siemens Energy is in charge of plant design. According to its CEO, Porsche is dedicated to using both e-fuels and e-mobility. Demonstrates a dual approach that will support the brand's automotive future by allowing EVs and synthetic fuels to coexist. Carlos Tavares, the CEO of Jeep, has expressed concerns about the prohibition on internal combustion engines in addition to Porsche. He said categorically that electric vehicles are killing the middle class. The decision to outlaw combustion engines is utterly dogmatic. The CEO of BMW, Oliver Zipse, outlined the dangers of making the switch from internal combustion engines to battery electric cars too soon. He underlined the need for a gradual transition away from combustion engines, claiming that abandoning ICEs too quickly would drive up the cost of EVs and render them significantly out of reach for the typical consumer. And if you thought buying an EV was a wise investment, wait until I tell you how much a Tesla really costs to sell it after only 2 years. Warning: it's not even half as good as the original. The former president of Toyota, Akio Toyoda, has questioned the exclusive concentration on electric vehicles over in Japan. Banishing ICEs is not the goal, he said. The reduction of emissions is the aim. The CEO of Mercedes-Benz, Ola Kalanias, has admitted that producing electric vehicles is more expensive than producing cars with conventional combustion engines. He emphasized the continuous battle to bring down the cost of EV manufacturing and the difficulties automakers have in bringing down the price of EVs. These remarks are a reflection of a larger industry worry that, if not handled wisely, a sudden and complete switch to electric vehicles may pose logistical and financial difficulties that might affect both manufacturers and customers, especially the middle class. The situations of GM and Ford demonstrate the effects of switching to all-electric vehicles. Thousands of EVs were mass-produced, however they are now not selling. These two businesses are losing $2,500 and $3,600, respectively, on the sale of EVs. Ford had to halt manufacture of their electric truck, the F-150 Lightning, while GM is also letting go of employees in order to conceal the truth. This whole catastrophe serves as a stark reminder of how important it is to approach the future with variety. Any firm that believes that electric vehicles are the sole solution will ultimately fail. Porsche isn't relying just on one venture. Porsche plans to have over 80 of its new vehicles electrified by 2030, but it is still making investments in contemporary combustion engines. In spite of the EU prohibition, Porsche's CEO is opposed to the concept of a 911 that is all electric and will only be shipped with a hybrid system in the future. 911 will not go fully electric, he said very plainly. The combustion engine which powers the 911 will never be replaced. However, this in no way implies that Porsche is not good at e-vehicles. Porsche has maintained high sales numbers even in the face of competition from EV titans like Tesla. Their all-electric Taycan is perhaps the greatest ever in its class and has sales numbers comparable to the legendary 911. In addition, Bloom said that Porsche would not be forsaking its employees and that the company values its community more than legal requirements. In contrast to other manufacturers who have announced employment layoffs, this comment is encouraging. While businesses like GM are laying off workers daily, Porsche has been able to generate new prospects and 2,000 employment at its headquarters thanks to the drive towards electromobility. Porsche is now reducing its manufacturing of electric vehicles while increasing its expenditures on gasoline-powered vehicles. With its Carriot branch, which is in charge of creating the vital software architecture for next-generation EVs, including Porsche and Audi cars, Volkswagen has experienced considerable delays. The reason for this delay, which is now affecting the launch of the Audi Q6 e-tron and the new Porsche Macan Eve, is persistent software issues that have persisted over time. Their intended CES platform, which was to act as the only future support system for Volkswagen's electric cars, has also been delayed. They have delayed the release by over 18 weeks. Due to the Russian-Ukrainian crisis, Porsche was obliged to temporarily suspend manufacturing across many plants. This caused problems with the supply chain, particularly with the procurement of wire harnesses. The Porsche Taycan, the company's flagship electric vehicle, is not the only model affected by this decreased production. The whole lineup is affected. China is now the exporter of about 80 of the batteries used in electric vehicles. as opposed to American businesses that prioritize procuring high-quality minerals without compromising the environment. These Chinese suppliers often get resources like as cobalt and lithium from Bolivian mines, which employ thousands of young laborers at minimum pay. It's also important to remember that the cleanliness of your EVs depends on the energy you use to charge them. Currently, about 60 of EV providers in the US derive their electricity from fossil fuel-based power plants, thereby negating any perceived advantages. And then there's the incomprehensible devaluation. According to Tesla's official app, if you buy a Tesla for $66,000 in 2021 and sell it today, you would only earn $32,000, which represents an almost 50% depreciation in only 2 years. Not to mention what will happen to the range as your battery starts to lose capacity over time. Porsche is defending its place in a market where demand for premium cars, including those with conventional powertrains, remains strong despite general economic worries by continuing to produce and develop ICE vehicles. By putting money into e-fuels, Porsche is not giving up on EVs. Porsche, on the other hand, intends for 50 of its sales cars to be electric by 2025. Nonetheless, their commitment to alternative fuels highlights their all-encompassing sustainability strategy. It's critical to keep in mind that there is no obvious victor in the race towards sustainable transportation. Rather, the focus should be on identifying many solutions that can work together to meet diverse requirements and preferences. Would you be comfortable living in an all-electric future? Or would you rather have additional alternatives available to you? Tell me in the comment section below. We have published a video that discusses important news that might harm the EV market as a whole. If you want to be genuinely surprised by what's going to happen with EVs, check it out.